Is when you're ready for us to start talking. So, hello, it's James Shaw here from the Greens, and I'm here with Lucy Lawless.
Or aka Sappho.
Yeah. So, tell us, why are you dressed in a robe with a great deal of hair?
Because I just took off a big golden dress, like a ball gown, like Cinderella, because I'm doing Pleasuredome, and I thought it wouldn't be very suitable for a Greens Party messaging.
Well, that sounds fabulous. Can you tell us about what Pleasuredome is?
Pleasuredome is this fully immersive. We've kind of tried to make a theme park for grown-ups, and it's I play an infamous lesbian nightclub diva who's nursing a terrible cocaine habit, and then she falls in love with the really hot daughter of a very nasty New York property developer. No names. And it's a lot of fun. So it's got all the great music of the 1980s when New York had Studio 54, Paradise Garage, and we're trying to bring people back to that time of a lot of bad behaviour going on, but it's a great backdrop for terrific storytelling and just a good night out.
Yeah.
Because everybody's sad at the moment, or working really hard like yourself. You're not sad, but you're working hard. And we want to give Auckland an escape and pressure valve release.
Great.
It's a good time. Come and dance.
So when is it and where is it?
It's here in Avondale. It's where we shot a lot of Xena and Ash vs Evil Dead. So you come into Partiki Road. It's right off the motorway, right off Rosebank Road exit, and you go through a subway tunnel and come out into a New York street circa 1984. And there's a working donut shop, and there's a jazz bar, and you can get street food. It's really alive. There's lots of New York characters from that time. And at the just the right moment, you'll be admitted into the Pleasuredome Club, which is right at the end of the street.
Right.
And that's a whole other experience.
I can't wait. I'm really keen to see it. After the election.
Yes.
Because we're a little bit busy.
Well, it starts the day after the election.
It starts Sunday night.
It starts on the 28th. Oh, no. It starts 28th. I'm sorry. Election's 23rd, right?
21st.
Anyway.
Saturday, 23rd.
What day is it today?
Yeah,
Saturday.
we're at that point now where it's all,
I know, it's so good. My life is an entire blur.
Yeah, great. Hey, so look, I really thank you for taking the time out from rehearsals to have a bit of a chat with us.
Yeah.
You have been a huge environmental supporter, an activist for ages now. And it's I think, quite unusual for actors and celebrities in New Zealand, at least, to come out so strongly on those kinds of issues. So why do you feel motivated to go beyond where most people were prepared to go when it comes to that?
Two things. One, that I evacuated the day of landfall of Hurricane Katrina, and it was such a terrifying experience for everybody in the city. And one day I'll write it all down, all the craziness that ensued. So that's one thing. It sensitized me to what the reality of increased and more ferocious extreme weather events, more frequent, what that's going to feel like for people in the future, whether it's me, my children, your kids, anyone. The number two reason that I feel really strongly about this is I feel a lot of kinship with people that I don't even know. So I have a very strong sense of the brotherhood of man, and
right.
When something happens to someone a long way away, I guess that's why I'm an actress. I feel it, or I think that I feel it. And so those are the two reasons that I cannot but use whatever you got. You need to use in this fight, whatever your sphere of influence is.
Right.
All hands to the pump, man. This is tremendously serious what's coming towards us. And that's why I think people in New Zealand, our duty is to party vote for the environment, because that's your children. We can't live without a clean and stable environment. That's no kind of life for your kids. So I'm very strong. I end every text with party vote green. Hashtag party vote green.
I've noticed that. Thank you for that.
to
really
my
appreciate
national
that.
party voting friends, because I live in total blue area, right? Party vote green. And
how do they react?
Well, they're starting to think about it. The men more than the women, funnily enough.
Really?
The men are, the ones that I'm dealing with, the husbands will read all the policies. They might not go and meet the candidates. Like, I quite like going to those little
Yeah.
meet your candidates things. Boy, it shows you exactly who's representing you. And but the guys that I know are reading all the policies.
Right.
You can open that door, they don't know. Excuse us a second. Hello? I'm doing sorry. Excuse us. Somebody looking for a bolt hole. They come and hang out in Lucy's dressing room because it's so quiet in here.
It is. It's like, even though we're in New York.
Everywhere else
so,
is chaos.
Yeah. Have you told that story about getting evacuated at
Oh
Hurricane
yeah, I've
Katrina?
written things down about
Right.
it because I know that I forget. So when really intense experiences happen to me, I write them down, and they're all over the place, but it's all going in the book one day.
Right. Yeah.
One thing that you don't know about when hurricanes are coming is that the barometric pressure drops. And for like 2 or 3 days before I was working on a movie there, I was going, wow, my feet are getting bigger, my shoes don't fit, my hat doesn't fit. Like, you think there's something wrong with you, but it's that everything's swelling because of the barometric pressure. Your rings, you have to take them off.
Right.
And that just adds to the weird discomfort. And it's also really hot. It's really hot. There's a lot of dampness. You all of a sudden you're told to evacuate.
Right.
You've got no water.
Yeah.
You've got no food. You might have some peanuts, whatever you can find in the car. You cannot get out of the flow of traffic because it ain't flowing. It's a complete car park everywhere. You can't get out to buy gasoline if you don't already have it, because nobody's going to let you back in, and it's an absolute gridlock everywhere. And there might be a sole cop standing in the middle of what we would call a roundabout, and he's trying to calm everybody, screaming because your radios don't work, your phones don't work, there's no information, and everybody's looking for, how do I get out of here? Is it true if I go east to Mississippi, I'm going to get turned back at the bridge?
Right.
Because then you're truly screwed. You're going to spend the hurricane in your car with your children. I saw kids on like the roof. You'd have like 12 people in a car, all the doors are open because it's so hot. They're hanging out of cars, but you're not going anywhere fast. And then you see very poor people, little girls walking the other way, la la la. This is in Louisiana, right? And they've got their little purse on her finger. I'll never forget this little crooked finger. They're walking the other way, totally unconcerned because they got nowhere to go. Their mother's not concerned because she's been through hurricanes before. They don't know this is the big one.
Right.
So if you finally get to safety, as we did, you know those kids are going to spend 2 weeks on the second-story balcony of their flats because, I mean, it's so catastrophic what happened to people left behind. People died under roofs because they couldn't hatchet their way out, and there was 9 feet of water in their houses. Anyway, these are the reasons I don't want this to happen. I don't want it to happen here. I have a friend in the Philippines. Lost her entire family. Held on to her mother's dead body until she threatened to drag her under. Every time that we do nothing on climate change in New Zealand, on our policy, of our energy, on our on diversifying our agriculture, we are contributing to the pain of people in the Philippines, or that band around the middle of the earth. Those people are already suffering. I just spent time in the far Arctic, in the Arctic Circle, where the summer is 20 weeks longer than it should be. This has happened all of a sudden. It's exponential. I don't even get started on permafrost and ocean acidification. It's so terrifying, the reality, that I understand why people want to bury their heads in the sand and vote national. But you know what? I'm voting for climate change.
Okay. So
sorry, is that controversial?
No.
That's what's happening.
I think it's. I mean, it's pretty unusual to meet someone who has actually like that first-hand experience, right? That really visceral experience of what that's like. So that's pretty extraordinary. Of course, we are 2 days out from an election, 48 hours out from an election here in New Zealand. And what are your thoughts about that? I get a sense of which way you're voting, but because there's still, there's a lot of votes that have been cast.
Every party.
There's still a lot of people who have yet to cast their votes. There's still a lot of people who are undecided.
Right, every party in the future is going to be significantly greener than they are now, because everything that you guys are talking about one day is going to be de rigueur. It's going to be like, of course, I can't believe people thought that not being net zero was okay. One day, that's going to be just commonly understood as the new normal, but unfortunately, the major parties are slightly dragging the chain. I'm really disappointed if Labour isn't moving assertively in the direction of a green economy. I don't like to see them toning down the words, because there is no time to waste, and we're all responsible for our emissions, our pollution, what we're leaving our kids. I feel like they're a little bit hedging, like that makes them seem too wacky, but actually to me it makes everybody seem wacky not to be moving as early as practicable to a clean green economy. That's the only good business there is, the only smart business there is.
Thanks. So we've got some people I think who have been sending in some text messages and questions. So
okay, if you say, wish me happy birthday or how are you, Lucy, I'm not answering that, alright? Don't ask me about my hair. I'm not a hair girl. My appearance is somebody else's job.
Okay, so for those who arrived late to the live stream, why are you in a robe?
Why am I in a robe? Because I've been I've been doing a dress rehearsal for Pleasuredome, and I didn't think my great big gold ball gown was suitable for this conversation with the leader of the New Zealand Greens Party, James Shaw. This is all you get.
Yeah. Unless you come to Pleasuredome.
Yeah. Then you get the full noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Xena ever come back?
You know, I resurrect Xena every time I hear certain politicians.
You get the
Xena's
sword
alive
out.
and well, I do.
Yeah.
I wear my breastplate on the inside. Will she come back? Yeah. Too damn good a character not to bring back.
It's amazing, actually, isn't it, that there's been this. I mean, when was the last season of Xena shot?
2001.
Right, so it's been 15 years, more than 15 years, and there's still this massive fan base out there for that show. Yeah.
They were, because it speaks to that part of people that feels marginalised.
Right.
It speaks to people who are marginalised, for real. Very popular with African American women.
Really?
Super popular in the Philippines. In Italy, for some reason. Much more popular in Australia than it is in New Zealand, and with men too, which interests me. But it speaks to the inner hero, because she wasn't the man with the white hair.
Yeah.
She was this kind of shady character who was trying to do good.
Yeah, she was badass.
Yeah.
I know a lot of young women who are huge Xena fans, you know, and I think found it quite empowering when they were growing up watching the show.
Yeah. Big with Maori women, actually.
Really?
Big in Maori, yeah.
Great.
At least back in the day, yeah.
What else you got?
Lucy, do you think we should ban deep sea oil drilling?
Yeah, I do. Ban deep sea oil drilling. How the hell are we going to stop an oil leak at 2 and 3 kilometres deep? That's like 1.5 miles deep. Do we have an army of elvins with specialised hands and really strong lights to fix that shit? No, we don't. Don't do it. We can't burn what we have above ground already. Move to a clean, green economy and power source ASAP. They know how to do it. They just don't want it, because they're making so much money selling you the black stuff.
What's your stance on the mental health system, both of you?
Well, I ain't never. What country are you in? What's my stance on? We need a lot of it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a lot of support.
This has come up. So this mental health has been on this election campaign. This is my 4th general election campaign. It's never come up before in quite the same way that it has at this election campaign. Literally every public meeting that I've been to.
Sorry, do you need me?
We're going to start again at 7:30. No costumes, just doing links.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Every single public meeting that I've done, whether it's a Meet the Candidates night or something that we've hosted, someone's always talking about mental health and the state of the mental health system. And so I don't know if you're kind of getting that vibe at the moment.
Well,
it really is a massive issue this year.
Yeah, particularly with the light being shone on suicide, and you know, we're such a happy little country. We think of ourselves that we can't believe that people are opting out through despair, mental health, whatever the reasons are. Yeah, it's such a multifaceted. It's way above my pay grade to actually comment on suicide, you know. But clearly, we're not doing that well. Not doing well at all.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, the fact that we're getting so much feedback from the public about it. So we've got a pretty extensive youth mental health policy that we launched a couple of weeks ago. The main part of it is that anybody 24 years and under would get free counselling, and that would be quite a big step for us, as well as a pretty big investment in the actual formal health system. So the best thing to do if you're interested is just to go to our website, greens.org.nz, and take a look at mental health there.
Because what would you do? All right, if I'm feeling suicidal, if I'm thinking about it, I might be inclined to reach out for help. Who's going?
Lots of people actually do want to reach out, but don't actually know where to go. And the government cut funding for Lifeline.
Yeah, that was famous.
Which, extraordinary, given that Lifeline was the one place that everybody, you know, had the kind of the brand recognition, the name recognition. Everyone's like, okay, I feel like I need to talk to somebody about this. They would ring Lifeline, right? So I think restoring funding to Lifeline is incredibly important, because at the very least, they can then tell you who else to talk to. Right?
That's a great idea.
But I mean, there are a lot of other community level health services, mental health services out there that also need support. But it is really important, I think, for us to have a sort of a recognised name that people can go, who do I talk to about this?
Yeah, brand. That's what a brand is, right? It's burned into people's brains.
Yeah.
And what a terrible brand to waste.
Yeah. We think so.
Yeah.
Last question, because mainly everyone's excited that you're here. Hashtag Party Vote Green. But what do you think about fracking?
Hashtag Party Vote Green. What do I think about fracking? It's not the way of the future. I'm really concerned that they're pumping carcinogenic materials. I mean, they won't release. Nobody knows what's in whatever the hell they're pumping to. But it's terribly poisonous chemicals, which must make their way into the food chain, into the water table. That ain't good. What is the next? It's the most precious resource we have on Earth. Why are we poisoning it so that somebody else can make a lot of money?
There's this thing called land farming. Do you know about land farming?
No.
For fracking, where basically the waste gets spread out evenly across
that sounds fair.
Open country.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's like about a foot deep. And it's
that's what the mafia
and it's the sludge that comes out of the fracking process. So it's pretty heinous stuff. And like you say, like we can't actually burn the fossil fuels that we know about. So the idea of going looking for more, to me, is just patently absurd.
No. And then you have one little gum digger ruin your line, and then you're so happy you got that electric car.
Yeah. Do you have an electric car?
I do.
Good on you.
I've driven hybrids or electrics for a long time.
Awesome.
But yeah, there's so many ways to be part of the solution, right?
Yes, there are. Hey, thank you so much again for your time. I know it's like you're incredibly busy with your rehearsal schedule for Pleasuredome.
Right. This is really important. Everybody got to vote.
Everybody do got to vote. So if you haven't voted yet, there's still 1 day of advance voting, which is tomorrow, Friday, and then of course there's election day. A lot of people haven't registered to vote. So
you can still do it. You can still vote.
You can still vote. If you don't know that whether you're registered or not, vote on Friday, because you can walk into a polling booth and they can check whether you're registered, and if you're not registered, you can actually register and then vote immediately right then in the booth. But you can't do that on Saturday. So on Saturday, you have to be registered to vote before you can vote. So if you don't know for sure if you're registered, go and vote tomorrow.
It's
otherwise
fun.
vote on Saturday.
It's totally fun to be part of it.
Yeah.
And remember, Party Vote Green tells whether it's a Labour or a national government that wins the election, that they must prioritise moving to a clean, green economy for your kids' sake, for your sake, for all of us. Party Vote Green.
Kia ora.